Why some countries are poor and others so rich is one of the central questions of social science. So it's no surprise that over the ages, many leading philosophers and social scientists have advanced different explanations for this. Some have stressed the importance of geographic factors, others cultural factors, and yet others have focused on the importance of leadership. Instead, my work focuses on institutional factors. Institutions are the rules and regulations that guide our interactions with other people. So they determine our opportunities and our incentives. So for economics, this is central because economic growth is about technological possibilities and it's about our ability to increase our productivity. And the institutions are central because they guide whether we have the opportunities to invest in our technologies and we have the incentives to do so. And the importance of institutions can be seen best when we start thinking about what the organization of society that encourages people to be corrupt or to dominate others using force or to channel their creativity and talent into illicit activities would be. Inclusive economic institutions are the things that we generally take for granted in economics. We typically think that people can interact in markets and they have property rights and they have access to legal systems. They can invest in their skills and abilities in a well-defined educational system. But throughout much of history and even today, most societies live under very different conditions. People don't have opportunities and they don't have incentives, or at least the incentives they have are very much distorted. So our distinction between inclusive and extractive institutions is meant to capture this difference. Inclusive institutions are the formal and informal arrangements that provide opportunities for a broad cross-section of society, and they also provide incentives for people to take those opportunities and develop them in a productive way. Extractive economic institutions are those in which there is a structure in which most people don't have the opportunities to advance their economic livelihood, and the incentives are distorted and enable some people to benefit at the expense of the rest of society. And crucially, we emphasize economic institutions themselves are situated in political institutions which also exacerbate the same problems, and hence we refer to extractive and inclusive political institutions. Our research suggests that sustained economic growth ultimately depends on inclusive economic institutions. This is not to say that there won't be periods in which societies can grow under extractive economic institutions. But for the most part, for long-run sustained economic growth, you need technological change, you need innovation, you need creativity. And all of these things flourish under inclusive economic institutions. But inclusive economic institutions themselves don't exist in a vacuum. They need a particular political environment to survive. And that political environment emphasizes distribution of political power in society that's essentially equal. So it's not dominated by one group or one individual or by one junta. It requires institutional checks on the exercise of that political power. There is no easy way to summarize how a society can get from an extractive set of institutions to an inclusive one. But summarizing our research briefly, what I would say is that we have also found no other way of ensuring long-run prosperity for a nation than striving towards achieving inclusive institutions.